Hey, lovely moon folk, welcome back to Bound by Moonlight. I'm so glad you're here. We're currently in the waxing moon phase, and I don't know about you, but I always feel that restless, hopeful kind of energy building. It's like everything wants to push forward and bloom, and sometimes I'm not quite ready to keep up. So tonight we're diving into something rich and a little haunting, changeling folklore. The idea of being stolen, swapped, or overwritten, and how that ties into personal consent and identity. Today, we're digging in properly, not just into the folklore, but into what it reflects back to us about power, selfhood, and reclaiming our magic. The changeling myth dances across Celtic and Norse folklore like a whisper through a hedgerow. Soft, eerie, and full of teeth. At its core, a changeling is a fey creature left in place of a stolen child. Usually, it's a sickly creature or one with strange habits, eating endlessly, crying in uncanny tones, or never growing quite right. The idea was that the fairies had spirited away a beautiful or gifted child and left a glamoured impostor behind. There's one old tale I always come back to. A mother begins to suspect her child anymore. He wails through the night, devours food like a beast, and his eyes look ancient. A wise woman, often a hedge witch or a cunning folk, tells her to confuse the fae with absurdity. So the mother cooks a meal in an eggshell, and when the child laughs and says something like, "Well, I've lived 1,000 years but never seen that before," the spell unravels. Her true child is returned, or in some stories, she learns to live with what she has. The idea that something has been taken from us without our consent, replaced with something hollow or wrong, it echoes in that gut feeling when your reflection doesn't feel like yours. When the mask you wear at work or in family roles that starts to feel more real than your own soul. It also speaks to the darker magic of the Fae, glamour, illusion, the trick of being seen but not known. And in that sense, it's not just a story about stolen babies. It's about sovereignty, about claiming your right to your own name, your own face, your own power. There's a lot of scholarly talk about these stories representing misunderstood disability or neurodivergence. And yes, absolutely. But from a witch's point of view, these tales are a warning about what happens when you let others define you, when you surrender your identity to survive. So if you've ever felt like a version of yourself was swapped out for something more acceptable, this one's for you. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You're just remembering your true self. Now let's move into our deity spotlight. And this week we're sitting with Persephone. She's often portrayed as this tragic figure abducted by Hades and forced to live in the underworld. And whilst Hades isn't Fae, he's a Greek god, there are some thematic overlaps when it comes to questions of agency and transformation. Yes, the beginning of her myth is about being taken, but she doesn't stay a victim. She becomes queen of the underworld. She claims that title. She holds duality, both the bright goddess of spring and the sovereign of shadow. That's a big energy shift from being acted upon to choosing, and that's where it ties into consent. Persephone's journey mirrors those times in our lives when power is taken and we have to decide how to reclaim it, whether that's through identity, boundaries, or transformation. If you're journaling this week, maybe try, where in my life have I been pulled into two directions and what power have I claimed from it? Let's bring in our book pairing for this episode. If you're into stories that explore lost identity, memory, and the subtle horror of being rewritten, I can't recommend The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman enough. It's strange, melancholic, and oddly beautiful. There's this deep sense of something being taken from the main character, something he can't quite name, and it mirrors the changeling theme in a really poignant way. Perfect if you want a little fiction to curl up with after the episode. Alright, witchlings, let's shift gears and ground into some magic. This spell is simple but potent. You'll need a candle, white for clarity or black for banishing. A quiet space, a moment to yourself. Hold the candle in both hands. Take a breath. Feel where your energy is scattered, where pieces of you might have been given away or taken. Now say, I call back the parts of me that were taken without permission. I anchor myself in truth. You can add tools if you like, obsidian for grounding, moonstone for emotional clarity, rosemary for cleansing. Let the candle burn whilst you sit with yourself. Let anything rise that wants to. This is your reclamation. So that's us for this week, Moon Babes. I hope this episode offered you something, whether it's a story that echoed, a truth you needed to hear, or a reminder that your identity is yours to define. Next week, we're heading into Moon Phases 101, a full walkthrough of the lunar cycle and how to work with each phase magically and emotionally. Whether you're new to moon magic or want to deepen your practice, it's going to be a good one. If this episode today stirred something in you, if you've ever felt like a changeling or like parts of you were claimed without consent, I'd love to hear your story. Message me or come chat over on Instagram. Until then, take care of your magic. You are yours.